All right, everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today is going to be a tutorial video about how to set up a business in QuickBooks Online. And it's going to be a very specific tutorial because I'm going to set up my new business in QuickBooks Online. So this is not going to be your general setup video. I do have a separate video for that. I will make sure to link it above and we'll also put it up here somewhere. But that video is kind of more general. Anybody who wants to set up a QuickBooks account, that is for you. This video is going to be kind of combining multiple things all into one because I'm going to show you a very specific example of going from 0 to 100 in QuickBooks to a place that I could actually start using this right away to start my bookkeeping for this new business. This is being recorded at the very beginning of the year, and I also recommend that as soon as you start a business that you pretty much want to get your accounting system up and running as soon as possible, especially if you already have activity happening. So I'm going to show you how to do this, and without further ado, we will go ahead and get into it. I will first Intuit, which is the name of the QuickBooks company. We are going to first start with where to get your QuickBooks license. I'm going to use my own discount because it is the best one out there. So I'm going to start there, and then we're just going to I'm going to step through all the steps to get it up and running. So we might be going a little bit fast here, but stay with me. Remember, you can always go back and rewind. You can always pause. And I think if you have YouTube Premium or something, I think you can even slow down videos as well. So, all right, well, let's go ahead and get into the screen share and we will walk through how to set up QuickBooks Online for my new business, the media business. All right, here we go. Okay, so the first thing that you want to do is go to claracfo.com/QBO. to find the deals that I'm talking about. We offer, through our special relationship with Intuit, we have 30% off for 12 months, and that's going to be better than what you're going to find on the QuickBooks website. They might offer you 50% for 3 months, even I've seen 70% off for 3 months, but that still mathematically doesn't come out to the same benefit as this 30% for 12 months. So usually when people start a accounting system, you stick with it. You don't switch after 3 or 6 months unless you truly hate it. So that's also why we do QuickBooks videos, is so that you can get up and running and you know how to use it and you will stick with it, because I do think that it is the best accounting system for small businesses. So now, which one I'm going to use for this business is I'm going to actually start with Essentials. So I would use Plus if I did not have an external budgeting system. I'm going to connect this business to Giraffe for my budgeting, my forecasting. And so if I did not have Giraffe, I would definitely be going with Plus, because this is where you get the access to the budgeting features and this financial planning. But otherwise, I would get started with Essentials here. And so that's what I'm going to do, mostly because the reporting is better than the Simple Start and a couple other things. But I'm going to go ahead and click on this. Okay, so if you don't already have an Intuit account, you're going to want to set one up here, but I already have one, so I'm going to go to sign in. Okay, so it's setting up our account now. Now, I have Right Tool downloaded, so it's going to pop up over here, but I don't really need that for the purposes of this video. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started. For starters, what's your business called? What we're using before QuickBooks, so nothing. I'm new, since this is a brand new business. Tell us more about Clara Media, the business type. So it is operated as a sole proprietorship. I'm just going to choose all other information services. I went and looked for a couple different types of industries and nothing was really fitting this business. So I went ahead and just put all other information services and then clicked next. My role is I am the owner and I am just me right now. All right, so let's keep going. What we're gonna do, we are gonna set up payments. So I would like to do that. We're gonna get paid online. Now, I really like the ability to get paid online through my QuickBooks invoices. Some of you will notice that some of the payment terms have changed. Like, for example, ACH payments at 1%. It used to be a flat fee. So that's something that we're gonna explore in future videos. But I'm gonna go ahead and just do this for now and go ahead and get set up.
Hey, you guys, I wanna interrupt myself here for a second and go over the rates that you would get if you did sign up using my link. So you do get a little bit of a discount. So I wanted to let you know about that. So you can also go back and make sure you are getting the right amounts as you start to use QuickBooks. So what I just showed you was the MSRP. These are the rates for if you are in person or if you do a digital invoice. And then if you key it in directly, that's the highest rate. And then ACH transfers are 1%. But if you sign up using if you signed up for a QuickBooks account using my link, you already get that discount for the year, 30% off for the year. But then you also get a discount on your merchant service fees. And we will continue to get those into the future. I don't know for how long, but as long as we can. So this saves about 0.2% on swipe, invoiced, and keyed on all of those. So 2.8% for sending digital invoices is about the lowest you'll be able to see for accepting credit cards. And then the big thing here is that this 1% with $10 max. This is huge. So this is what QuickBooks used to offer for all of the ACHs, and then they went to just charging 1%. So this is really big because if you're sending $10,000 invoices, you obviously are not going to reach, 1% of $10,000 would be $100, and in this situation, it would max out at $10. So you save a lot of money here if you're doing ACH transactions. So if you've never signed up for a merchant service account before and you have an existing QuickBooks account, you can message us at hello@claracfo.com and we can get you these rates. But it doesn't apply if you already have a merchant services account. We can't go back and retroactively apply these rates. So I wanted to let you guys know about that because actually this discount, I knew we had a discount. I just didn't know exactly what it was, and I just figured it out. So I wanted to share that with you guys. All right, back to the video.
And then they need to know about me as the business owner. Okay, so this is where you will put in the bank account information for when someone pays you, where will that money get deposited. So obviously they're wanting you to sign up for a checking account here, but I actually have a Relay bank account that I'm going to be using. So I'm going to add my bank account information now. So there's a couple different things. You can link your account directly. It's probably using a Plaid or some other kind of direct link, or you can enter your account info manually, which I am going to choose to do. Okay, after you enter your bank account information in, what you'll need to do, what they're going to do to verify your bank account is that there will be 2 small deposits. It'll be a couple cents each, and that's usually within a couple business days. And then once you do that, you'll come back into QuickBooks and verify those amounts that were deposited. So you'll go back into the merchant services and verify those amounts. So we're going to be done there, and then we're going to review and finish. All right, so we will click Get Set Up. All right, so we'll continue from there. And it's really walking us through everything we need to get set up here. So I would like to go ahead and personalize my invoice. I will pick a color scheme. So I like the blues. That's pretty on brand for me. And then if you can go directly and get a color code. So I don't have a specific color code for my new business. We haven't done a full branding thing, but so I'll just leave it blue for now. And then if I wanted to upload a logo, I could. I don't actually have a logo yet for Clara Media, so to be done in the future. It's a little bit less important for this business because that part is not the public facing part. The public facing part is the YouTube channel. So I'm gonna just leave that as is and put that information there. I'm going to leave that as is. We can further customize the invoice, but that's a little bit deeper once we actually get into the invoicing section. So we're going to continue. And then where are we sending invoices? We're going to send the email from QuickBooks and then send to your email. Next. All right, so now we're going to link actual accounts so that QuickBooks will actually start uploading the transactions that are happening in this business. So right now, what I have is I have an American Express card for my credit card, and then I have 2 checking accounts currently, both with Relay. I have, I guess 2 bank accounts. I have a checking and a savings account right now. So what we're going to do is link those accounts. And for here, I'm going to do that direct link because I want this to be live. I don't want to manually, you really can't have this up. You can upload transactions manually, but that's not what I want. For the bank feed and for all the transactions to come into QuickBooks, I want to be able to have that live link. So let's look up Relay, go here, get my login for Relay. Okay, so we're going to connect these 2 accounts. I'm going to go ahead and connect this to This is a savings account. And then this is a checking account. And then I want it to pull everything through the first of this year. All right, we're gonna go ahead and link that American Express card as well. And it is a Delta Sky Miles card. So those accounts have now been connected. Okay, so those accounts have now been connected. So the next step is if it wants me to set up receipt tracking. So this is where you can say I save payroll receipts, I save mine digitally, I save paper and digital. So I do pretty much everything digital. And I can put this app on my phone, so you can easily get your QR code out and download the QuickBooks app right now. That way you can just take pictures of receipts and upload that. And I'm going to not do that on camera because I don't have any way of showing you guys how to do that. But if you want to do that, you can. So I'm just going to skip that for now. And then is there anything else that we'd like to do? So right now, we're going to talk about bill pay in another video. I really don't see anything else here that I need. I won't be sending estimates. I don't have any inventory. I don't have sales tax for this. I don't have mileage deductions. I don't need emails here. So I think we can go ahead and skip for now. Move on. All right, so here we are in the QuickBooks dashboard, but what I want to do is actually customize our chart of accounts. So that's the next thing I would go to as I'm working on customizing things. So I'm very tempted to just use my right tool over here and jump over to chart of accounts, but I want to show you guys how to do it if you don't have right tool. If you're in QuickBooks all the time, definitely get right tool. Where did they move it to? Okay, under transactions, chart of accounts is where we want to go. So what you'll see now is this is a very basic chart of accounts. Like if anything, they've put in a chart of accounts based on what type of industry I said I was in. So to be perfectly honest, I would probably delete out most of this stuff. And I actually don't know how to do that. I don't know if there is a way to do that. So what I want to do though, is I want to import my chart of accounts, the one that I want to use. And then I can go in here later and clean up the accounts that I'm not going to be using. That is a little bit of a pain. I thought that they were for a little while when you were first uploading or setting up your account, I thought that they were allowing for a little bit more customization at that first part. So I'm a little disappointed, to be honest, for QuickBooks to not have more customization as you're setting up. But I understand they're trying to make it easy for people to just like start using it. But I don't love what QuickBooks is doing when they put a chart of accounts together. As some of you know, I do have a separate chart of accounts video, and I have a standard chart of accounts that I really like to use. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and import my chart of accounts that I've already set up over in Excel. So it's funny, it says you can import up to 247 accounts. 247 accounts is a lot of accounts. I don't recommend anybody having that many accounts. So I will go and find my file. Before I find my file, what I want to show you guys is the sample file. This is what, if you download a sample file here, this is the format that you need in order to upload your information to QuickBooks. So you need account number, account name, type, and then detail type. I'm going to show you real quick what type and detail type means. Yes, I want to leave. If I go to a new account, setting up an account type, this is going to be, is it an asset account? Is it a liability account? Is it an expense? Is it revenue? These are the high level categories so we can get things into the right place on our P&L and our balance sheet. And then there's sub accounts to that. So let's say there's bank accounts, then the detail type is it checking? Is it savings? Is it something else? So on any of these like expenses, there's a lot of detail types. So we have lots of different options of different types of expenses. So is the expense administrative? Is it payroll? And so on and so forth. It's not super important that you get these subtypes absolutely correct, but it does help with the organization of the chart of accounts. And if you don't use account numbering, it will default to some of this order. So it's something to keep in mind. And you really need to get the account type correct. So that's very, very important. Detail type is less important. It can still be important, but it's less important. So that's what it's talking about when it talks about account and detail type. So I'm going to upload mine, and I'm going to have to skip through a couple steps here because I know I need to do more chart of account cleanup. but I'm finding that file, and then I'm going to next, and then I need to align the headers of my file with what these items are. So detail type is the account subtype, and then I have the account name is the full name, and the account number. I could have named this better, but I just didn't. So, and then type. So then we're there, and I can check this to make sure that makes sense. Account number is in the right place, account name, it's a bank account, it's a checking, and then I can go through. This is also a great time if you wanted to make any edits, you can. One thing that I'm super bummed about with QuickBooks is that I can't upload a chart of accounts and designate a sub-account. I have to go back manually and change all of those things into a sub-account. So what I mean by that is, like, if I have cost of goods sold as a main account, and then I have 3 different cost of goods sold sub-accounts underneath, I can't get that to upload here. I'm gonna have to go back in and edit those sub-accounts and make them manually a sub-account of that main account. So there's gonna be more cleanup apart from just this video, but this is kind of getting the basics in here first. So I'm gonna go ahead and import that. And then what this is gonna do is it's gonna identify if we have duplicate accounts. It's going to say, hey, it says 95 of 106 accounts were successfully imported, but then it identified all these duplicate accounts. Now, these are pretty much system accounts, and I can't really change these, and so these are already in the system. So really here, I just don't have to, I can just take all of these out. And if I wanna put the number in there later, I can. I'm gonna take all of those out, so no problem there. Okay, so my 95 new accounts have now been uploaded. So what I'm gonna do here now, which I won't do it during this video, but if there's anything here, like for example, buildings, I'm gonna make that inactive because I don't have any buildings. And then land, I'm not gonna use that. I'm gonna make that inactive. Long-term office equipment, that has fixed assets. I don't have any of that, so I'm gonna make that inactive. And it should make all the sub-accounts inactive as well. So I will have to go through, because of that original chart of accounts that QuickBooks created, I have all these extra accounts. But some of the things that we created were this American Express card, for example. Now, I will need to align this. Actually, probably what I'll do is just delete the one that's already here and then rename the one that I linked here. So I'll make the inactive one the one that I uploaded. And then I would rename this one. I like to have the last 4 digits of the card on the chart of accounts, especially if you add additional employee cards or you maybe have multiple cards and it's a little bit hard to keep track of. I like to do the same thing with bank accounts as well. It makes it a lot easier when you go to reconcile accounts because you might have 5 bank accounts with the same bank, and it's good to have that reference point of what is the actual account number. Not the full account number, just the last 4 digits, because those are usually unique enough to identify your accounts. Okay, so now we are pretty much ready to start bookkeeping here. So I can review my categories. Let's see. I don't want to do this. It's going to have you kind of walk through. I already know how to use the bank feed. I just want to. QuickBooks will like have these things that it's like, here, let's teach you how to do it. And I already know how to do it. So I just want to skip through all of that. And then I have a ton of videos to show you guys how to do this. You don't really need some of that. So we will work on that later, but this is kind of what it looks like when you're in the bank feed and it has transactions that it wants to classify. Now we want to go into settings. One thing we need to do before we go any further is go to subscriptions and billings. And if I want to lock in that 30% discount that I got through using my link, I need to go ahead and put in my credit card information into the system. So I'm going to go ahead and subscribe here, and then I'm going to add a payment method. Once you have subscribed, you will lock in that deal, and then you'll still be able to get your free 30-day trial, so you won't be charged until the end of that time. So that is very, very important. Let's go ahead and go to some other settings that I want to check out. So let's see here. So we've got our company information. You can review all of that. That looks fine. I have 3 users I can add to this. My merchant ID has already started, so we set that up in the setup phase. Tell us where you want QuickBooks to record deposits. So to the checking account, and processing fees will go to merchant service fees. Okay, let's go. I don't need QuickBooks checking. Let's look at a little bit at the invoicing. We're gonna have ACH and credit cards already turned on. That's right. I'm gonna turn off my late fees for now. If that becomes an issue, I might turn it on. That looks fine. Nothing there. I don't need to track time and anything in advance. So accounting method, very important. I wanna change that to cash. And then this is customers or clients. I'm gonna probably keep customers actually. My first month of fiscal year is January. Accounting method is cash. Not closing the books. Sole proprietor. Chart of accounts. I want to enable account numbers. I want to show the account numbers. When you have account numbers, you can organize your information so much better on your chart of accounts. Okay, so everything else here looks fine to me. So I am basically ready to use this account. So I can't receive any money and use my merchant services until I verify the bank account that we have. So when that money comes in, then I will be able to verify the account. So I think, I'm not entirely sure where we go to verify those amounts. What I think will happen is you'll go to account settings and then you'll go to payments, and you should be able to do that up here somewhere. Yeah, I am not entirely sure. So we will need to see. My assumption is once they initiate the amounts that they're gonna show us, that they would show some kind of notification to verify here, because it benefits them to be able to process payments sooner. So I'm sure they have some kind of way of notifying people when that's ready to go. So basically, QuickBooks is ready to set up. I will definitely spend more time cleaning up my chart of accounts, and mostly because I am kind of very particular about my chart of accounts, and I noticed some things that I definitely want to clean up already. And then all those accounts that were already uploaded, I will go in and inactivate any of those accounts that I don't want to use. And it matters because the information that comes into the transactions that you have as you start coding them to the different categories, that shows up in your P&L, and you want your P&L to be very usable and readable, your P&L and your balance sheet. So you want that to make a lot of sense. So yeah, if you want to learn more about chart of accounts, we have a video for that. And hopefully this has been helpful to let you know how to set up a QuickBooks account from start to finish with a very specific use case. So, all right, well, thank you guys so much for being here, and let me know what your questions are in the comment section below, and I will talk to you soon. All right, bye everybody.